All right, we're going to talk about an idea that I have. It's going to be simple, easy, very easy. So say you've got a friend, you got two friends, whatever, however many friends. I'm sorry, my tracking died. I'm getting used to this whole VTuber thing. I did a very basic animation on this. Hopefully it looks good. I'm not an artist. Well, I'm not a drawing artist. I can paint minis, but that's as far as it goes. So you have a lieutenant with combi weapon in this instance, a apothecary biologist, and a shaky camera, and most of the way done red hand Death Watch Justiciar. Now you could absolutely keep them Death Watch and just be like, hey man, here's a mini, here's a lieutenant, build it however you want to, we'll call it whatever it is, we'll call it whatever you want it to be on all of the lieutenants, whatever builds you want, because you want to keep this to the design. Say one of your friends wants to be an apothecary, something like that. It doesn't have to be these three, just any character minis. I would say any character minis. I would say everything's on the table. You could do apothecaries, no motorcycles. I'm looking at the list. Probably ancients also want to be very good, but Captain and Gravis armor, Captain and Phobos armor, Captain and Terminator armor is that might be a little OP. I've got to figure this out. Jump pack stuff, chaplains, Terminator armors, chaplains maybe, jump packs, company. Nope, that's stuff. Justiciars, librarians. You have all of these lieutenants and different kinds of armor, tech marines, and watchmasters. Well, we have watchmasters because we're whatever the Death Watch. I couldn't think of the army that I'm playing. Or using it as an example. But so say as my example, we got 3 players: Rhino, Stirpot, Jeff. And our players are Rhino, Stirpot, Jeff. All right. So this objective for today, and you could do this, and you could do more than one round in a day, but it's kind of like Space Marine 2, where you go do a mission. Your main goal is to do a mission, that kind of stuff. So Stirpot needs to collect 5 Gene Seed. So you can either place tokens, dead Marines, whatever you've got, maybe just Marine heads. I don't know. You could place anything down on the map. Make a full game board. You guys design the terrain. I would say probably make it a lot more narrative designed. Don't focus on L-shaped ruins. You want it to look good. If you're supposed to be fighting on a jungle world, make it a little bit more jungle. If it's supposed to be an agri world, make it a little bit more plains, a little bit more open. It's not going to affect crazy huge amounts of things. If you're fighting on a mountainous terrain, make it hilly, that kind of stuff. Put some story into it. This is meant to be played to have fun and not be competitive. This is supposed to be like a way to play as your characters that you designed. These are this is a push fit mini, this is a push fit mini, but this is a totally completely my design chaplain Justiciar, because I really like the Justiciars, and I think this version's a little lame. But that's besides the point. So say for instance we need to help Stirpot collect 5 Gene Seed. So say you put 10 Gene Seed tokens. He has Infiltrate, right? Is it Infiltrate? Hold on, I'm looking at the stats right now. We'll talk a little bit more about the stats in a minute. Yeah, he has Infiltrators, stealth, and that kind of stuff. So where would he start? He doesn't have to start with the group. If you could be deep striked, infiltrate, all that good stuff, throw him closer to some objectives, maybe get him in the middle of the board. There might be enemies there, but it would be roll a dice. I would probably say roll a dice. No. You'd want enemies on the board. I'd say sprinkle some enemies across. You don't have to be crazy. You can all work together to do this kind of thing. I'm sorry that my tracking's like stopping and going, but I'm I'm new to all the VTuber stuff. So you could set it up like that. And so let me, for instance, say I have Tyranids right next to me and my tracking's dying again. So I wouldn't say you run full squads of Nids if you're going to run Hormigons as an enemy. Can I please get another Hormigon? There we go. So I would say run 5-man squads because they don't have crazy wounds. You're not gonna be consistently fighting huge amounts. So a Hormigaunt and a Space Marine is going to be able to. I mean, a Space Marine should stomp a Hormigaunt, let alone a Judiciar. Let me look at stats. Lieutenant with combi weapon for sure should. And what is the Apothecary? Yeah, the Apothecary can take close hits, but attacks. Ooh, I didn't actually look at the attacks. That's 1 attack shooting. That's another 1 attack shooting. And Lieutenant with combi weapon is also another 1 attack shooting. Yikes. What is that called when damage bleeds over? I'd probably say damage bleeding over to other models. Totally fine in this case because you're doing character minis so let's continue with this. So say you run into this. You make your attack, you take out 2. He makes his attack, he takes out 1, and 1 fails the attack. And you go off the current stat. I'd say go off the current stats for your weapons and such, your attack profiles. Then you can attack, but instead of having like so many wounds, that kind of stuff, you could spend a command point, because I'll say keep command points in, because get one every round. It's not that hard. Spend a command point to heal. So say they attacked him, he's -2 wounds. I don't know how many wounds he has. He has 4. How many wounds do all characters have? Are all characters 4? The Apothecary is 5. Okay, the other 2 are 4. So say he's down to 2 wounds. You would talk amongst yourself and be like, "Hey, look, we need to go ahead and heal this guy." So you spend a CP, heal him. Next round, you take these 2 out, and you continue on the mission. Just do it like that. It's super simple. You don't have to go crazy. You don't need these special cards. And if you want to randomize it somewhat, grab a dice and be like, "Okay, 1 through 3." It would be, what does GW call it? A D3. You roll it as a D3 and just be like 1, 2, or 3 units can spawn in. Or in this case, I'm using Tyranid Warriors as an example. If you're gonna want to fight something a little bit more heavy, roll a 6-sided die, and whatever you roll will be the level of threat. So a 6 being the highest, I'd probably say a Psychophage is probably the highest, but like a 5 being a Tyranid Warrior, because Tyranid Warriors on the tabletop might actually be good. Let me double check this real quick. I haven't looked recently. Tyranid Warriors, please. Where are Tyranid Warriors? There they are. Let's see. Toughness 5, save throw 4, 3 wounds. Okay, so they're more in the 4 range. They're not that bad, but they could also hit you really hard. Yeah, they can hit really hard. And then I would also say you get mortal wounds, which would be, okay, you got, so say we fought this guy. I don't remember what weapon this is. The Venom Cannon is what we'll say it is. Say we attack Rhino. We get 2 attacks through, and that's 4 damage. All right, he's on his mortal wound. You better figure out a way to either kill this thing or get him into cover. Otherwise, he's going to be gone for a turn. You won't die or whatever. You're going to be knocked down. Your allies can come help you, but it's going to cost a turn in game. It's meant to be played a lot faster. If you want to charge and fight, you could do that. It's kind of like Kill Team, but with characters, and I mean, it's kind of a lot like Kill Team, but with characters. Anyways, I just thought this was a fun little idea. Simply just go off of the stats. Oops, that's the wrong screen. I need to quit doing that. That's not what I wanted to do. It is this right here. You go off of, oh, you can't see it as well because of me. You go off of whatever stats they have, and GW can update it, hopefully balance it themselves. I just figured this would be a little fun way. I do plan on trying this with a couple of friends real life, and maybe one time on stream. Although the models sadly aren't going to look this good as I've gotten them. But yeah, they give you everything you need. Play it on a 2,000 point table, and you should be fine. I hate this app sometimes. You should be fine to be able to play however you want to. But I just thought this was a fun little neat idea, kind of like a character mode, but without it being like a horde mode where you got to fight the horde of enemies and stuff. This is supposed to be more like objective based, almost exactly like Space Marine 2. Now that I think about it, but it's whatever. If you like the idea, give it a shot with your friends. It's just meant to be like you design characters with your friends and just play some tabletop. Not only that, you're doing almost everything that Warhammer basically is normally, so you might even be able to remember the phases and get some practice games in to remember how the game works in general. Because I would be a command phase, fight phase, round phase, or it would follow the 5-phase rule, the 5 phases of the regular game. Yeah, that's kind of just my little idea I've kind of thought of. This might not be original idea, but I just kind of thought of it and thought, why not? I'm going to try it with my friends. Why not you give it a try with yours? It's a nice little way to tell a narrative, maybe add some story, add some background to maybe a character you like so much, which is like this one for me, the Justiciar. He fought bravely to secure Gene Seed with his friend, with fellow Death Watch members, and he has a backstory now. It's not just, oh, I painted him to look cool. So it's as simple as that. I have no idea how I'm going to end this video, so bye!